Ooh. I was not just doing homework just now for another class. Hey guys, it's Anaya and welcome back to my channel of IB Survival. This is episode 2. Anyways, today is going to be talking about internal assessments, short for IAs. Give you a little brief synopsis. What an IA is, it stands for Internal Assessments, and it's one of the things that IB gives us to, test what we've learned and put it into use by applying it to different kind of categories, or like different kinds of papers or orals or what have you. So I'm going to go and talk about like the different subjects that you have it in, how to prepare, how to do well. Let's get started with the subjects. So for me, when I did my IAs, by the way, I completed all of them. I had an IA in biology, I had an IA in math, I had an IA in Spanish, I had an IA in art, I believe, and I had an IA in history. So that's 5 subjects. There may be more because I looked on the website and they said that it was something about geography, something that's based on geography, but I didn't take that. That's basically how that goes. And so I want to go ahead and talk about the biology IA. You learn a lot of stuff in your 2 years of being in the diploma program. You learn a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff with a lot of different categories and what have you. After you've had those 2 years, you get a biology IA. You are able to test your skills of what you learned over the past 2 years. This is usually assessed, we had it due for us back in February. Had it about, we got information on it back in, I would say August, September. It was on the syllabus. That's how we knew about it and we had time to work on it. Essentially what it is it's just basically an indirect test of your abilities and what you've learned and how do you apply it. It's just a lab report, and your teacher is going to work with you with lab reports and different, they should work with you on, different things in a lab report and how a lab report grades, so that way you can prepare for this IA, because it does go towards your IB diploma, and it does count a lot. It's a significant amount, so you need to make sure that you do well. I'll talk to you about what is required. So if you go on the IB website at www.ibo.org, in the description bar below, if you go a rubric, and you can also find information on it from other students and other teachers all over the web. Really type in the IB biology IA, you are going to find so much help. Thank you IB teachers and others of the like. So yeah, basically you're going to go on the internet, they're going to give you a rubric of what you need to do, what you need to follow, and it is a lot of help because they are very thorough in what they want. It's not a lot of potholes, just make sure you do it well and make sure you do it to the best of your ability. First, you have to have a topic. Make sure that this topic is not elementary. We have to make up our own lab, or we have to make up our own experiments. Do not be that kid. Goes to Borders or whatever, or Barnes and Nobles, and goes and gets a book that has experiments on it. Do not, because I guarantee you will fail. It has to be different from people in your class. It cannot be the same as somebody else. Now, in contrast to last year, they did it in a group apparently, and you had 2 experiments, and whenever which one was the best, that's what you would go and write your IA on. Make sure that this experiment is not elementary. It cannot be something simple like, okay, I'm gonna go and throw a ball and see, how fast it is or whatever, and how that relates to the speed of sound and Albert Einstein's hair. No, boo, no, it has to be something that is related to biology. Go find something that you like. Make sure it's something that you like. Make sure it's something that maybe you're interested in. Research. That's one of the requirements on there anyways, is to have some background research. So at least they have it there for you, you're going to have to do background research on this thing. So maybe as you're doing background research for one thing, you may go and look into something else. Do not procrastinate. I am a living witness. Do not. Please. Don't do it. You should have 5 trials. You gotta have 5 trials. And so the control variable is the one that it's not bothered, you don't have anything to do with it, it's not bothered. Everything else should be like your dependent. Don't quote me. And so, yeah, you should have your 5 variables. You have to have at least 5 trials because, I mean, it's part of scientific method. It's experimentation. You gotta make sure it's right. You gotta make sure it's concrete. You gotta make sure it's the truth. My classmates, like, they had theirs done in 1 day. Mine was over a span of like 14 days, so it was like a 2 weeks. And, you know, make sure that it is constant. Make sure that your variables, your independent variables are constant when it's coming to your experiments, because you can have the same variables, or, you know, just make sure that you're treating everything the same. Do not treat anything different. Do not be like, oh, I'm going to treat this plant with lots of love, and I'm going to treat this plant with no love because it deserves to be on the side. Oh, they should all be treated like a family. Like with my biology IA, it was like, you know, this plant's name is Janice. This is planted Janice. She was actually the plant that was actually the only one that grew, but her name was planted Janice. I treated planted Janice just like all my other variables, even though planted Janice had the best results. I named my plant. That's how you have to treat it. That is the way. You wrap it all together, make sure you have a topic, make sure you're interested in this topic, do some background research, have 5 trials, treat everything the same way, and then go and record it and bundle up into a lab report. And if you need more questions, go on the IB website. Please do not be afraid to ask questions. You will definitely feel much better and much more confident in your answers because you have asked questions and you'll be set. So do not be afraid to ask questions. Go on the IB website. Go ask friends. Go ask your teacher. Your teacher is there to help you. He or she is there for you. There for you, boo. Now we're going to be transitioning into the Spanish IA. So it's an oral. You have your Spanish oral, and the way this works is a recap of what you learned and applying it to an oral in terms of speaking the language in Spanish. And the way that my oral was set up was you were given the option of 2 topics to talk about. I had 2 topics to choose from. And then once you're stuck with that topic, you make sure that you study the crap out of that topic. 20 minutes to write down all your notes that you're going to say. You were given a picture that you need to interpret. And once you get that picture, you have to interpret it. It's a new picture. It's similar to the topic, so that's there to help you. But it's a new picture, and you basically either you read off the sheet or you interpret it from your mind or stuff that you studied. You have interpreted it on your paper, whatever, and you blah 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 blah. Go in and you talk to your teacher. She's like, you have any questions? You need some chocolate? You know, like my teacher, she was so awesome in this aspect. Like she was like, you need some chocolate, you need to take off your shoes, you want some water. You know, she is the bomb. Shout out to Miss Gattuso. I love you. And once you say you're ready, then you talk about this picture, you talk about the title, talk about what's going on in it, ask you questions, yeah, that's basically how time continues, and it may also spark some other kind of, you know, information that you had known before that you can apply to it. But make sure it's relevant to this, though. Make sure that your Spanish is correct. Do not say incorrect Spanish because you are not going to get very far. So now we're switching on to history. History IA, same thing. You're applying what you know, but except this time, you can choose from whatever topic you want, as long as it's not like super recent. Make sure that you have really good research. Have this topic, you talk to them about it, you know, make sure you're in the clear, make sure it's right, because like in biology, it cannot be equivalent to that of another person's topic. You can find the rubric for this and all of the requirements on the IB website, but basically I'm going to go ahead and tell you my thing. So with mine, you know, I came across it by research. You know, type something in. Maybe it could be something that you learned in class. Type something in, find something out about that person or that event. Go do more research. Make sure you have primary and secondary sources. Read books. Make sure you read books. Don't just go onto articles. Make sure you read books. Make sure you go on primary source websites like JSTOR, Galileo, NetTrekker, the Library of Congress. Like, just find something that is a primary source and that is a trusted source. Make sure that it's, you know, everything is good, you know, that they're not lying to you. Do not use Wikipedia. Do not use Wikipedia. Do not use Britannica. Don't. That's my song, sorry. Okay, find something that's interesting, and then you're going to be able to write a rough draft. Once you write this rough draft, you know, make your correction, blah, 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 blah. He's going to read it. Teachers I don't know how other teachers work, but with my teacher, you know, if you needed a question, you went up to him. Like I said before, ask those questions. It doesn't matter how completely crazy they may be, as long as it's related, ask that question, because that can save your grade. The rubric online, it'll lay out everything for you, and talk to your teachers. Your teachers are there to help you grow, help you succeed, help you in that global marketplace. Now we're on to the math IA. Your own topic, it's new, but make sure that it's related to math, or make sure it could be historical, it could be history related, but make sure that you can tie math into it. Some people talked about the Olympics, some people talked about I don't know, food. Like me, it was with food in distance. So make sure that maybe it can be something that you're interested in. It doesn't matter, but make sure that you can link it back to math. This has everything to do with, you know, information that you learn and how to apply it into different little math reports, lab reports. There's something like that. The teacher is going to be there to help you through the whole entire process. Just you have to make sure that you ask questions. They're not going to come to you to help you. So don't be afraid to ask questions. So basically the math IA is the same as the history IA, same as the biology IA, is not really the same as Spanish, but you know, make sure that you ask questions, find something that you like, research, tie math into it, do the math, make sure the math is good, like, you know, maybe a chi-square test, maybe like correlation coefficients, like stuff like that that's not really hard, and stuff like what you learned in class. So yeah, that's essentially how that works, and you'll be able to do rough drafts on all of these, and with those rough drafts you're able to ask your teachers any questions that you will need, and then you'll be able to write that final draft and send it to somewhere like Timbuktu. It doesn't even matter. I don't even know where they send this IB stuff. It's just actually pretty cool. Make sure that you do your best, because it counts towards your IB diploma. Make sure that you ask questions. It doesn't matter who is from teachers. Make sure you ask students. Make sure you ask or go on different forums or from past IB students and teachers and go ask questions. Find something that you like when you're talking about these different, when you're writing these different IAs. Make sure that is something that you like, so that when you're actually doing the IA, you can, you know, put some music on and, you know, write that thing and not be bored and crying. Don't procrastinate. Do not procrastinate on this. This is nothing to procrastinate on, because this stuff is muy importante. You feel? Okay? And yeah, make sure that you study and get all the stuff that you need ready, so that way you can be ready to write this thing, and it won't take you so long like it took me so long. Okay, well, that sums up episode 2 of IB Survival Tips. I hope you gained some information about what you need concerning the IAs, and okay, that's it. I'll see you later.